Deja vu all over again. Welcome to our federal government. We are just minutes away from a partial government shutdown, but do not worry, it is not going to last as long as the last one. Tonight, the Senate passed 5 out of 6 funding bills, and the House plans to take them up late Monday. President Trump is backing the deal to fund much of the government, excluding the Department of Homeland Security through September. DHS will be funded for 2 weeks while lawmakers are negotiating that bill. Good luck. The agency has obviously become a flashpoint amid outrage over the immigration crackdown in Minnesota and the killing of 2 U.S. citizens. Today, thousands of people were out in the streets in Minneapolis to oppose federal enforcement actions there. And massive protests took place across the country with more demonstrations planned this weekend. The nightcap is still here. Okay, Anthony, did Democrats kind of salvage a win here by sort of separating the DHS funding?
I mean, temporarily, maybe. I mean, this is not going to what is this really solved? You know, like, I mean, if I even saw, I believe it was the police chief in Los Angeles saying that if there's any rule that says that ICE agents, DHS agents cannot wear masks, we won't enforce it. So really, what leverage did the Democrats actually, what did they pull off here?
Okay, but we, Nevada Senator, your home state, Senator Cortez Masto has been outspoken in the past not to use opening and shutting the government as leverage, but she said she would vote against the bill if it included DHS funding. What does that tell you about where Democrats are or responding to their constituents looking at them out in the streets?
Well, Cortez Masto is pretty ambitious, first of all, and she got a lot of blowback when she voted against the shutdown, and so I think that's affecting her. And her colleague, Jackie Rosen, has also been very, very outspoken, even more so than I've ever seen her in her career. She hasn't been in Congress for that long. She was first elected in 2018 to the Senate. So, Stephanie, I think that they're feeling a lot of pressure. And as you mentioned, there is a lot of sentiment in Nevada because of the population makeup of Nevada. And I think Cortez Masto, who is Hispanic and has gotten a lot of blowback, I think, in Las Vegas because of what's happened in Minneapolis and because of her vote before. Now, most people don't know the ins and outs of shutdowns, and they don't care that much about that. But they do know ICE is funded by DHS.
Does it surprise you that you're not seeing these big ICE raids in Nevada, given how many immigrant workers you have, how big hospitality is there?
Don't give them any ideas, Stephanie. But the bottom line is, I think because Joe Lombardo is a Republican governor and has tried to, placate Trump, suck up to Trump at times, and he's in a tough re-election potentially because of Trump mostly and the Nevada economy not doing so great. I think that they've stayed out of Nevada. But if Las Vegas does have a Democratic mayor and a very formerly very partisan member of Congress, Shelley Berkeley. And, it's a nonpartisan job. But I think if Lombardo weren't there, I think ICE would already be in Vegas.
Then again, doesn't this show, right? When you've got a state like Nevada, when you have a state like Iowa, where there's all the meat processing plants, and you're not seeing big ICE raids, Florida, Texas, which certainly has way more illegal immigrants than Minnesota does that not just show that this is hyper-political and it is not about a massive immigration crackdown?
It is hyper-political. I mean, we knew that from the choice to target Minnesota in this way, because Minnesota has actually a relatively small population of undocumented people in the Somali community there they were sort of the beginning pretext for this whole thing. 90% of them have legal status or citizenship. So this idea that they were a community where, it made sense to send federal agents, thousands of them there, to harass people of that particular background never made sense to journalists, to longtime residents, organizers on the ground. But the truth is, this kind of political decision-making around immigration has been around for a long time. I spent the early part of my career during the first Trump administration covering immigration, and I spent a lot of my time in Texas. And the rumor, and it wasn't really a rumor, it was just sort of what everybody knew about the way the state functioned there, was that a lot of powerful businessmen, people in construction, agriculture in Texas, had relationships with the White House, and were kind of like, hey, please leave us alone. Pick somewhere else to do your raids. Pick somewhere else to do, we're happy for you to do your photo op at the border and in front of the wall, but please stay away from, our construction sites. That was a known thing, and that it was sort of flowing through Abbott all the way up to the federal government. And so this has been going on for a while now, Steph. Minnesota is sort of the escalation, though, of a pattern and a sort of behind-the-scenes reality that reporters have known and tried to cover for a really long time.
And people from that state are saying, we're not going to take it. I want to play what Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said today about the civil rights probe into Alex Preddy's death today, because this is an absolutely new development that Charles Coleman just said a few minutes ago. It's extraordinary because this is coming on the heels of public pressure. Watch this.
I don't want the takeaway to be that there's some massive civil rights investigation that's happening. This is what I would describe as a standard investigation by the FBI when there's circumstances like what we saw last Saturday, and that investigation, to the extent it needs to involve lawyers at the Civil Rights Division, it will involve those.
It would have been standard if they would have done it and announced it last Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What's not standard is that they're now doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see he can barely get the words out of his mouth. His heart's so not into it. But like they initially said, yes, there will be no investigation, and it's just completely outrageous. I mean, even Trump ally like Rand Paul said this is outrageous. Like when there's a shooting like this, there should be an independent investigation. There should be some kind of process where we examine the facts here. But immediately, what we were told was, no, we're going to close the books. There's no reason to investigate here. And yes, after a certain amount of outrage, now they're at least going to say, well, there'll be a cursory investigation. It's no big deal. It's just the FBI. They're not even really clear about why they've changed their minds. There was something about oh, well, there was a gun involved. So I guess is Alex Preddy's gun civil rights involved here? But like you said, there's no real passion behind it. It's just like, all right, we got to do this. We took a lot of guff. All right, fine.
But look what happened. Look at how this has progressed. Right afterwards, you have he's a domestic terrorist. Mm-hmm. He's an assassin.
The president said that today. He's an agitator.
But that's what I'm saying. And then there's tremendous blowback, and suddenly Trump is putting out, I had a great call with the governor, and then I had a great call with the mayor, and we're going to fix this. And then the video comes out of Preddy previously getting into a confrontation, and suddenly Trump is putting out his stock is going down. He's an insurrectionist, and tonight he's putting out that Kristi Noem is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Except he didn't let her say one single word in the cabinet meeting yesterday. Before we go to break, MS Now is reporting that Ohio could be the next target. They have a huge Haitian community there.
That comes from our colleagues Mark Santia and Laura Barón Lopez. And this is something that we've heard was likely coming down the pike for a moment. This is a big deal and a major threat for the community there. First, there's about 12,000 to 15,000 Haitians who live in the Springfield area just alone.
Legally.
Yes, and they've been there with protected status. And this protected status goes back to the major earthquake years ago. It's been renewed and sort of re-protected time and time again under different administrations. And the logic for the cancellation of their protected status, TPS, really falls apart quite quickly when you just give it a quick glance. So the administration, on the one hand, over the summer, Kristi Noem and others started making remarks to the effect that things have improved enough in Haiti that it's time basically for you all to go back.
She hasn't been to Haiti lately.
She hasn't been to Haiti lately. And actually, many Americans haven't been to Haiti lately, because if you do, the State Department will tell you that is not a good idea and it is not safe for you to go there. And in fact, there are roving gangs all over the place that have basically taken over the country. We have colleagues who have traveled there and to the border with the Dominican Republic, and they have covered exactly that. And so, many experts believe that this is basically a death sentence for many of the people who live in that community and, of course, around the country. And so Springfield being the next epicenter of this, I mean, it's incredibly heartbreaking. I think we're going to see heartbreaking circumstances domestically and then heartbreaking stories that happen after the fact if, indeed, those people are sent back.